Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Last Viking TV back again. You may or may not know this, but there was a drone shooting, a U.S. Air Force drone shot down yesterday over parts of Iran, and there was a conflict between Iran's airspace and international airspace. The international airspace lines up right along the edge of Iran territory, where the land mass versus the water mass. So right where the water meets the land, that is the end and the beginning of the international airspace. The U.S. Air Force, I think this is called a RQ-4 Global Hawk drone, and it is quite the computer. It is unmanned. There is a theory as to why this particular drone was shot down. We'll get into that in a minute, but just wanted to show you a picture of what this drone looks like. It's got about 132-foot wingspan from end to end. So basically from here to here, 132 feet. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start into this video. The U.S. said that the drone shot down outside of the Iranian airfield. It was actually shot down, and the computer has actually shown where it was shot down at, and it was shot down over international waters. Now, the true story may never be known, but Iran knows what happened. The drone very well possibly could have done something like this. We're flying around here, we're flying around here, we're flying around here. Oops! We're in uncharted airspace. Let's fly back out of it. So on their way back out of this mistake, they shot it down. At that point, Iran says, they're in our airspace, send out the missile. It obviously takes a certain amount of time for that missile to hit that drone. By the time that missile hit that drone, it would have laid it right where U.S. says it was hit. But that doesn't mean that's where the missile took off. By the time that they actually fired the missile, the airplane may have been over Iran's airspace, which I think it was. I myself am a drone pilot. I fly drones as well. I know that I can get my drone across a 100-yard football field fairly quick. And anything that, let's say if we shot a missile that could fly just as fast as my drone could at that speed and on that ratio, it very well could have, I could have been flying over someone's backyard, and that person's backyard could have shot out a missile at my drone. Well, my drone would be clearly over public property or over into a public street, but by the time that missile actually made contact. So they very well possibly, U.S. could have made the mistake. But the U.S. will never condone to that. And with the government's, wanting to start a war, definitely the government really wants to start a war with Iran. They really want to have something that they can fight on. And I think that there's a lot of misinformation or corrupted information. This is not fact. This is just my opinion, and you can take it for whatever it is. It may help with whatever people's theories or thoughts might be. But again, so we're going from here. Okay, let's say we're flying through international airspace. They just barely come across this borderline, and then they come right back out. As they come right back out, that's when they get shot. by the time that they actually reached this dot here, okay, this airspace, they're actually saying, well, it was, when we reported it, it was over here. And this right here is very hard to detect because if you were to zoom in, the landline, the line where the land and the international water begins. I mean, so here's the land line here. So to know exactly where this space, I mean, because I've flown my drone, admittedly, very close to unauthorized airspace. But at that point in time, once I recognized how high I was flying, I had dropped it down almost immediately. Now, give or take 10 feet, 15 feet, flying a drone, that's a very easy mistake. Now, flying drones, given the wind, given the pushing of the drone into other airspace, you know, it could have been the drone pilot's fault. But would the drone pilot ever risk losing his job because of a multi-million-dollar aircraft? Oh, hell no. He would not admit fault. And his colleagues, his comrades in that Air Force department would find ways to make sure that that pilot didn't lose his license, because he may be a good pilot, good person, got a family support, you know. But hey, it is what it is. This is just my theory. So flying that drone at this angle, coming back across and going, uh-oh, we got to get back over here before they recognize us. Well, too late. Iran saw you way back here, and now all of a sudden they're watching you. The moment that you cross that boundary, kabow. That's right. That's what happened. So that's what I say happens. Furthermore, the drone that was actually shot down, it was kind of looked like this. I mean, they have different models of this drone, which is, you know, it's very easy to tell that this drone is unmanned because of its given its large size and its radio frequency. It would turn on and it would turn off its radio frequency, and it would be in stealth mode. But yeah, so with it being in stealth mode, they can test if the drone or the pilot of that drone is communicating or responding. They probably sent out signals saying, hey, if you're a pilot, you're in unrestricted airspace. Well, the drone wouldn't respond. It would shut off and go stealth mode. So then they automatically knew that it was a drone and unmanned. So what they do to flex their strength, because they got the little man syndrome. Iran has the little man syndrome. If you don't know what the little man syndrome is, you put a little man in a group of big men, and you're going to see that that little man has this big ego. Oh, yeah, I'm so big and tough. Oh, yeah, yeah. You're going to have that, and that is exactly what Iran is doing right now. They shot their little missile up, blew up a multi-million-dollar drone. So what? They like to shoot at the water. They don't actually hit. They like to shoot at the water of around military vessels that are coming too close. But they will never actually have any casualties. The reason why they don't want to have military casualties by any extent, they are very careful at making sure that they don't have any casualties, especially military casualties or any American casualties, is because that would then give the American people to say, yeah, they killed ours, let's kill some of theirs type of motive. And that's the thing that the U.S. government wants. They want us as the United States people to say, yes, most of us agree, let's go and have a war. If we start a war over a drone, an electronic piece that was unmanned, nobody died, the people of the United States are not going to agree with that. So that's going to become an issue politically. And it's going to make U.S. look like a bully. So, how to avoid that type of issue and conflict with the American people versus should we or should we not go to war? Well, the next thing is to put more sanctions on Iran. Take away some billions of dollars. Remove their right to chemical experiments, chemical testing, chemical weapons testing, any weapons testing. Iran thinks that they have Russia as an ally, and they probably do, but 90% of Russia is covered by ice anyways. And that's really not a big deal as opposed to what the U.S. has to offer. And a lot of things that Russia and China have no idea what the U.S. has. We are the superpower and continue to be the superpower. And that's just it. I mean, bottom line, that's period. The money that is actually placed in each one of American soldiers, American soldier high-tech black ops outfit and uniform with all of the satellite radios, walkie-talkies, night vision, and everything comes to about, I've seen it before, and I think it was around $8,000 to $10,000 per suit, per soldier. And China's suit came to about $800 or $500. And then Russia's suit came to like $200 to $500. So you definitely have a lot more, and they compared the American soldiers versus other country soldiers, where you have 5 soldiers to 1 U.S. soldier. So for every one, you could take on 5. So I mean, it's just the training, it's the education that goes into it, and pretty much that's it. And the money that's invested into our soldiers and our homeland security and defense. So moving on here, we're going to see this video right here. Oh no, not that video. So second, wait, hold on. Where's the first? So here we go. I was way down here. I don't know why. But anyway, so this drone right here is the one that was shot down. There is a computer piece right here in the front that the IRGC experts working to extract data from the downed aircraft, Israeli drone downed. It was actually an American drone, U.S. drone, but here they're saying it was Israeli. I'm not really quite sure why that's there, but yeah, it says right here it's an Israeli drone, but the U.S. is claiming it's theirs, and this is the Jerusalem Post. Huh. That's interesting. So why is the U.S. saying it's our drone, but it actually says Israeli drone? That is very interesting. So anyways, yeah, so there's a computer database on a computer chip on the drone itself. So they're going to pull that and try to see if they can recover some of the data that was there, and see what was found. Also the next theory is that Iran, actually the drone captured some video footage that the Iran did not want anyone to have, but it was captured. Having what we know, trying to figure out what the reason was for that drone to be flying at night over that area and performing that specific type of mission. What was the purpose of it? And why was the drone there at that time, at that moment? Just a lot of questions. So the first, the remnants of the aircraft do not match those of any known Israeli UAV, said Meg Han, noting that Iran is saying it's a Hermes-class drone. But of the two Hermes models, which are most similar to what appears in the video, the Hermes 180 and 450, there are still a number of minor design features which do not match. There is a clear hole at the tip of the nose on the drone that Iran claimed it shot down, but the Hermes 450 has a smooth nose with some kind of rectangular openings on the top and bottom, which are absent on this drone, asserted Mehiam. While the Hermes 180 does not have a point that extends from the tip, which would create that hole, there appears to be differences in how the body is assembled. The crashed drone nose appears to be clearly split in two, indicating the fuselage is made of two halves fused together. While if you look at the both Hermes 180 and 450, you can see that on top there is a removable rectangular opening to access the inner workings of the drone. In fact, the aircraft that Iran claims to have shot down actually resembles an Iranian-developed Shahed 129 drone more than any known Israeli one. So this is what the Israeli Hermes 450 looks like. And that kind of looks like the tip. I mean, it's got yellow on the head. This one has, yellow on the wings. No yellow on the head. So, I mean, that kind of, all the drones kind of look the same. Iranian Shahed 129, and then, so yeah, that's pretty much that. But it was just kind of weird, strange to see that it said Israeli drone, but then the U.S. is claiming that it's our drone. I don't really understand that part. Maybe you guys might find that interesting. I'm passing it on to somebody else that might have another opinion on it, and leaving your comment down below. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel because I do a lot of random stuff sometimes, and this is one of them. So, the one that the U.S. is claiming that was shot down was actually this one, or this one. But, as you can see, that drone don't look, I mean, we can go multiple crash pictures that you can see here. Well, that there, it looks like it. But there, it doesn't look like it. You know, a lot of this stuff also might be a conspiracy to try to start a war. Basically, just throwing out there, some type of cheap drone just to start up a fight. And this might be a political, media type battle starting. They're trying to start a war. It's trying to start some argumentation for no reason. Because the reason why I say that is because a lot of these drones, you have one that looks like it, but this video is, I mean, it looks so old. You got lines coming through it. You got water and mud around the bottom. Here, it's dry. So these photos do not match. While it is now routine for the U.S. to use unmanned planes, it doesn't show a date or time. 400 U.S. military drones have crashed. So 400 U.S. military drones have crashed. So what? This is the one that they're recently talking about. This is the one that has recently been posted for the drone that was wrecked. Now, showing the drone that this one right here is the one that was right here, June 21st, 2019. The date, actually, I'm sorry, I'm right in front of it. But yeah, so here we go. I don't know. Let me see where can I find my date at for this, because I'm actually my photo here, my square is covering it, and it's very hard to see. What article is this from? Okay, well, I don't know. I can't find it, but it says it's right behind me, and it says June 21st, 2019. And unfortunately, I can't show it to you. Oh, there it is. That's really weird because it says September 1st, 2014, but then right here it says June 21st. Um, so I don't know. But anyway, so what they're saying is that this drone, that this specific type of drone was a RQ-4BS as of FY 2013. Unit cost $131 million. The program cost, that program that started this drone, that ran all the programs, was a $10 billion program. And it was developed into Northrop Grumman MQ-4C Triton. So, a little bit of details about that. This is specifically the drone that was supposedly shot down. I don't know about the other one, but this is the one that was supposedly shot down. And you can see it's fairly large, running about $132 million. And you know, it's not a drone that you would normally fly around your park, but it's definitely got a lot of speed to it. It's a very fast drone, 132, 140 foot wingspan, and you know, very high altitudes that this drone can fly at. Here we go, June 20th. Washington, Iran's takedown of an American surveillance drone high over the Strait of Hormuz touched off escalating tensions on Thursday as President Trump convinced his top national security officials and congressional leaders at the White House to debate a military response. The possibility of a retaliatory strike loomed over Washington as officials in both countries traded accusations about the location of the drone when it was destroyed by a surface-to-air missile launched from the Iranian coast along the Gulf of Oman. The episode immediately prompted a heated debate among Mr. Trump's national security advisors. One senior administrator official said Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and John R. Bolton, the national security advisor, had argued in favor of a robust military response, while top military officials were cautioning that such an action could result in a spiraling escalation with risks for United States forces in the region. The destruction of the drone underscored the already jittering state of relations between the two countries after Mr. Trump's recent accusations that Iran is to blame for explosions last week that damaged oil tankers traveling through the strait and the vital waterway for much of the world's oil. Iran had denied that accusation. Iran's announcement this week that it would soon breach one of the key limits it had agreed in 2015 pact intended to limit its nuclear program has also fueled tensions. So basically, Iran's saying, we're going to breach our agreement and we're going to screw you guys because we're going to start making nuclear weapons. Iran has vowed that the United States, so Mr. Trump, who pulled the United States out of the 2015 pact, has vowed that he will not allow Tehran to build a nuclear weapon. On Thursday, Mr. Trump insisted that the United States unmanned surveillance aircraft was flying over international waters when it was taken down by Iranian missile. Trump says maybe it was just a mistake. Iran says it was not a mistake. We intended to do it. So this drone was in international waters clearly, the president told reporters on Thursday afternoon at the White House as he began a meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada. We have it all documented. It's documented scientifically, not just words. Asked what would come next, Mr. Trump said, let's see what happens. Iran's government fiercely disputed the president's characterization of the episode, insisting that the American drone had strayed into Iranian airspace. Iran released GPS coordinates that put the drone 8 miles off the country's coast instead of the 12 nautical miles from the shore that Iran claims it has territorial waters. Majid Taghraghji, Iran's ambassador to the United Nations wrote in a letter to the Security Council that the drone ignored repeated radio warnings before it was downed. Well, downed and drowned. He said that the Tehran does not seek war, but is determined to vigorously defend its land, sea, and air. So as you can see here, that strait, the Gulf of Oman, Dubai, the disputed boundary area. So, they obviously knew where they were flying. Zooming in, you're actually having plenty of airspace to fly in between. So, this is a dangerous situation, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. We are dealing with a country that is a bad actor in the region. We have no illusions about Iran in terms of their ballistic missile transfers, about who they support in the region and the rest. So they're obviously saying that they know, the U.S. government, and especially Nancy Pelosi specifically, know that who they support in the region and the rest. So if we take this comment and we go with what we've heard before, that Iran has supported ISIS and other terrorist organizations, which they have, and you see this right here and we know about who they support in the region and the rest, right? We have no illusions about Iran in terms of the ballistic missiles transfers and about who they support in the region and the rest. So Iran's destruction of the drone appeared to provide a boost for officials inside the Trump administration who have long argued for a more confrontational approach to Iran, including the possibility of military actions that could punish the regime for its support of terrorism and the destabilizing behavior in the region. So it's terrorism and support of terrorism, yeah. But in his public appearance, Mr. Trump initially seemed to be looking for a way to avoid potentially serious military crisis. Instead of directly accusing the leaders of Iran, Mr. Trump said someone loose and stupid in Iran was responsible for shooting down the drone. The president said he suspected it was one individual in Iran who made a big mistake, even as Iran had taken responsibility for the strike and asserted that the high-altitude American drone was operating over Iranian airspace, which American officials denied. Mr. Trump said the episode would have been far more serious if the aircraft had been a piloted vehicle and not a drone. It made a big difference, a big, big difference, that an American pilot was not threatened, he told reporters. Again, you can look at that drone. You can go back and check this. I don't know why that's there. But yeah, so they don't really show the drone that was attacked, but you can see that the Global Hawk drone Iran shot down was a $220 million surveillance monster. That was by Wired.com. Now then you go over here to Time Magazine, and they say that the drone was $176 million. So it's between 220 million and 176 million, and then based off of where is my report here? Oh, where did it go? So yeah, here we go. General characteristics of that drone. So primary function: high altitude, long endurance, ISR. Contractor: Northrop Grumman Prime, Raytheon L3Com. Power plant: Rolls-Royce, North America, F137RR100 turbofan engine. Thrust: 7,600 pounds. Wingspan: 130 feet 9 inches. Length: 47 feet 6 inches. Height: 15 feet 3 inches. Weight: 14,950 pounds. Maximum takeoff weight: 32,250 pounds, meaning that it can carry weight, it can carry other stuff. Fuel capacity: 17,300 pounds of fuel. Payload: 3,000. Speed: 310 knots or 357 miles per hour. Range: 12,300 nautical miles. Endurance: more than 34 hours. Ceiling: So how high the drone can fly is 60,000 feet. Armament, none. There's no weapons on it. Crew, remote. It takes three people to remotely control it. It takes one LRE pilot, one MCE pilot, and one sensor operator. Initial operating capability, 2011, Block 30, 2015, Block 40. Inventory active force, 33. 3 more Blocks 30s purchased to be fielded in 2017. So they've had, they got a few of these drones out already. Just some interesting facts. So you guys get to know a little bit about this drone. The way I feel what's going to happen from this is basically more sanctions, more suppression, and maybe, I mean, it would be really hard for them to say, well, we want to start having our military moving in and start, they're going to start attacking some military bases. Well, if that happens, our military men are going to be in some very serious trouble over there because there's just not enough of them. A lot of our military has actually been removed and sent back home from Iran, from their tour over in Iran. Not to mention the soldiers that got PTSD from Iran and fighting ISIS and Taliban and all those other things, and a lot of the rebels. So where is this going to go? Let me know your thoughts down below. Please comment, give us subscribe, share with all your friends and family. Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's find out what's going on. Thanks for watching. Until next time.